Usually when Apple puts the word budget next to the word iPhone, it feels like a prank. For the last decade, buying the cheaper iPhone meant you were basically paying a premium price for yesterday's leftovers. It was like buying a luxury car, but finding out it had hand crank windows. You bought it because you wanted the blue bubble, but deep down, you knew you settled. But if the rumors and leaks about the iPhone 17e are true, that era is officially over. And honestly, it's about time. We're looking at a phone that isn't just good enough for the price. We're looking at a device that is roughly $599 that might just completely break the mid-range smartphone market. This isn't just an update. It is a warning shot to every Android manufacturer out there. So grab a coffee or a tea if that's your thing. And let's break down why the iPhone 17e is the most dangerous phone Apple has released in years. To understand why this is a big deal, we have to look at the recent past. Remember the iPhone 16e? Yeah, exactly. Most people don't really want to remember it. It sold okay, sure, because it had the Apple logo on the back. But it felt apologetic. It felt like Apple was saying, here you go, you can't afford the Pro, so have this instead. It was full of compromises that just didn't make sense in a modern world. Apple hates that feeling. They hate releasing products that feel less than. So, with the 17e, the strategy has shifted entirely. They aren't building a cheap phone anymore. They're building a gateway drug. The goal here isn't just to sell you a box. It's to get you into the ecosystem and keep you there for 5, maybe 6 years. And to do that, they realize they can't give you a notch from 2017 and a slow chip. They have to give you the goods. Let's talk about the face of this thing. For the longest time, the entry-level iPhone was the home of the notch. That black bar at the top of the screen that screamed, I bought the old one. Well, pop the champagne because the notch is dead. The iPhone 17e is bringing the dynamic island to the budget lineup. Now, does the dynamic island actually change your life? Maybe, maybe not. But visually, it changes everything. Suddenly, the $500 phone looks exactly like the $1,000 phone sitting next to it at the dinner table. That matters. It makes the device feel premium, modern, and intentional. It doesn't look like a spare part anymore. It looks like a flagship. But looks are one thing. Let's talk about the engine. And this is where the tech geeks and the casual users both need to pay attention. Usually, the budget phone gets the old chip. It gets the hand-me-down processor from 2 years ago. Not this time. Sources are pointing to the iPhone 17e running on the same generation silicon as the main lineup. Why does that matter to you? If you're 22 years old, it means your games like Genshin Impact or Call of Duty are going to fly. No lag, no stutter, just speed. If you're 55 years old and you just want a phone that works, this matters even more. A flagship chip means this phone isn't going to slow down in 18 months. It means that in the year 2029, this phone will still be opening your banking app and your emails instantly. Apple isn't doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. They're doing it because a fast phone stays in your pocket longer. And the longer you stay on an iPhone, the harder it is for you to ever switch to Android. It's a trap, but it's a very comfortable, high-speed trap. Now, I need to speak to my Android friends for a moment. I know what you're thinking. I can hear you typing the comment already. But tech friend, my Android phone has a 144Hz screen. It has 4 cameras. It charges in 10 minutes. And you are right. On paper, a $600 Android phone destroys the iPhone 17e. If we are playing top trumps with spec sheets, Android wins every single time. They have higher numbers, bigger batteries, and more megapixels. But here's the brutal truth that Apple knows and Android manufacturers fear. Normal people do not buy spec sheets. They buy trust. The average buyer doesn't know what a refresh rate is, but they do know that when they post a video to Instagram on an Android, it sometimes looks like it was filmed with a potato. They know that on an iPhone, it just looks crisp. They know that when they buy a Samsung or a Pixel, sometimes the software updates get delayed or a feature stops working. With Apple, you press update and it works. That reliability is the iPhone 17es secret weapon. This brings us to the price tag, $599. In this economy, where grocery bills are looking like mortgage payments, that price point is aggressive. It sits right in what we call the danger zone for the competition. If you're Samsung or Google or OnePlus and you're trying to sell a mid-range phone, you're now backed into a corner. You have 2 choices. Choice 1, You slash your prices. You make your phones cheaper to compete. But if you do that, you make less money, which means you have to cut features, which makes the phone worse. Choice 2. You try to out-feature Apple. You add more cameras and gimmicks. But, as we discussed, Apple wins on brand loyalty and longevity, not gimmicks. Apple has essentially created a checkmate scenario. By offering a phone that has the modern design, the top-tier speed, and the iOS reliability for under $600, they are effectively vacuuming up the entire middle class of the smartphone market. Let's look at this from a practical standpoint. Who is this phone for? It is for the college student who needs a phone to last through their entire degree without needing a repair. It is for the parent who wants to buy their teenager a phone that won't be uncool in 6 months. It is for the older user who just wants FaceTime to work perfectly with the grandkids without fiddling with settings. This is a phone you buy in 2026, and you comfortably keep it until 2030 or 2031. Think about the math on that. If you keep this phone for 5 years, it costs you about $120 a year. That is absurdly good value for a device you use for 4 hours a day. The upgrade fatigue is real. People are tired of spending $1,000 every 2 years. We are bored of it. We want something that works, looks good, and doesn't bankrupt us. The iPhone 17e is the answer to that fatigue. Is the iPhone 17e perfect? No phone is perfect. I'm sure the cameras won't be as good as the Pro models. I am sure the screen might lack some of the fancy promotion smoothness that the tech snobs love. But for 95% of the population, those things don't matter as much as having a phone that doesn't freeze, takes great photos of the dog, and lasts all day. Apple isn't just releasing a budget phone here. They're closing the door. Once they get a user in at $599 with a phone this good, that user is never going back to Android. It is a strategic chokehold, and it is brilliant. I want to know what you guys think, though. Is $599 cheap enough to make you upgrade? Or are you sticking with the flagship models? Or are you an Android warrior who refuses to bite the apple? Let me know in the comments down below. I read all of them. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the tech curve. I'll catch you guys in the next one.